Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Turn Right Machine Works. My name is Keith, and we're in here at the lathe. We just we started up everything here, and then we had to run out and unload one of the metal trucks come in for some other projects we got. Anyhow, I'm getting ready to pull this jig off. In fact, I can pull this jig off now. And we'll set that down on the ground. Okay. Now, I get a lot of comments that, okay, hey, you're building the jig and all about worrying about money for the customer and the job that's paying. And when it comes right down to it, a percentage of it is for the job. But the rest of the percentage is your own investment in your shop. One of the comments there was that I worked for my boss for 30 years. I've been a machinist, and he don't let us build any tooling or whatever. I have not been in any shop in my 42 years of career where there wasn't a need to build some tooling for one job or another. But I've been in repair all the time, so even when you're set up for production, you've got to do a lot of building for production runs as well. So I come up to the next tooling that we're going to be putting in here is some line boring jigs that I made for cylindricals. Round tubes. We're going to do the bushings in here. Struts. A lot of oddball things that have legs sticking out. And I almost thought I was going to be able to do those in there, but the way that enclosure, the weldment around that round piece was not going to let me in there with it. But this will be perfect for the bushings. Now, before I mount these up here, I'm going to go ahead and put the bushing material stock in the lathe, and we're going to finish face both ends. And then we'll go ahead and I'll put my bell center in there, and I have a 3-inch cone bar I slide in here, and we'll hold that bushing right between centers. We'll just tighten this up around there, take away the cone jig, slide our bar in there, and put our bit in and start cutting. Fast and easy. Now these are 9-inch long, and yes, we could forge them, and we could come in with our compound, and we can hang out a boring bar. And hey, this lathe is 60 years old, and I know it has just a little bit of traffic down on this end here, and I know it does give me a little bit difference in the bore, whereas I could put it out here and I can line bore it out here, and I have a perfect bore, just like that bore I just put in the fork carriage assemblies there. Okay, so anyway, I'll get this off of here. We're going to get the lathe put back together, and we're going to get those in here, and we're going to start facing them off. Okay, let me just double check here. I brought it out to this outside line. I think this 5 inches. Okay, we're 5 and 5/100 or so both ways there, so we should be fitting in here pretty close. All right, now here's their saw cut. Here's my saw cut. Now I'm going to put it in here, but I'm going to hold it away from this face a little bit, because we're going to dial here, and we're going to dial out here, and we're going to dial the axis of this outside as close as possible. Face it, turn it around, and do the same thing. And the reason why we're going to do that, if you put this thing right up against the end of the chuck and you have to manipulate it into the jaws, you are you're going to be locked up against that back. And all we're doing is taking a clean face on here. I think we're like 9 3/16. This needs to be 9 inches overall length here. All right. We're going to use our Noga here. Okay, within a couple thousandths of that 50. That's about what I was saying. It was about 5 thousandths on the surface here. We're going to come on out here now. And it's actually that way because we're reading less here, and it's coming over this way here at 80. Okay, now we could beat on this thing, or we could get our heel bar and we could stick it in behind here and do a little prying, and that's usually less stressful. Let me see where my heel bar's at. Okay, I have a couple of heel bars, but this one here is real slender. All right, I'm just going to put it in here and Just give it a little palming here. And there I brought it down from 80 to 50. $30 to $80. Okay, we'll bring it up to $80 now. We're the other side of that jaw. Okay, when you got, these are real straight jaws and there's not letting it flex in and out. So now what I'll do is I'll just take pieces of aluminum and I'm just going to take these one at a time. I'm putting them in the same location on each jaw. There's our 80. There's our low. Okay, let's go back to the 80. Much better. When we move it, we're able to get to where we want to go. Okay. $60, $50, $50, $60. Okay, we're gonna let it fly right there. All right, here goes our first face here. Sometimes when I'm throwing bronze, I'll put a brush like this. Sometimes I'll turn it upside down if I'm hogging it a lot. Just to keep it from flying all over the place. Now that's not bad for that Inco saw to cut it that true. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take another cut. There's part of the saw cut right there. I know we'll probably trim some of that off of there, but we want a nice clean surface right here. Awesome. Okay, I'm just gonna take a little bit of that burr right off the inside there, just so it's not sticking out there, and we can go ahead and break that outside. Alright, we're going to go see if the other one got cut off to length yet, and we'll do the same thing, and then we'll run them both the other way. Now this face can go against that chuck, and then we'll hit a medium, happy medium in here with our indicator, and we'll decide what's going to be parallel, but at least then both sides will be parallel. Okay, this is the first one, and scaling this out at like 9 inches, probably 20 thousandths. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and just take the burr right out of the center of this one. There we go. And we'll hit the burr on the outside here. All right, we'll set that one down, and we'll get the next one in here. Okay, we have our 3-inch bar in with our taper. We quickly dialed that in. We already mounted in our carrier for the bearing. We designed and built this so that this flush on this end puts this center of the axis of the lathe. All right, and now we're just going to roll this on up in here because we want this to be at that position, and we want to be equal on both sides of that. We'll bring in the bell center here. Okay, and if we really wanted to, we should be able to go ahead and put this somewhere in here, and that should tell you where that's running. And I can live with that, about 10 thousandths. Alright, so I guess we just pick a spot right there and we crank in or crank out. Crank in, I guess we call our bolts here. Okay, and then our lock nuts just kind of go down and make sure that nothing gets looser than. Okay, our bearing is ready to bore. We pull out our alignment tool here and we stick in the boring bar. Okay, I've got the bar in and I got my bit stuck in there. I kind of came over and it looks like we're going to be taking about 50 thousandths off of the diameter there. This is 450 RPM. 450 RPM, and this is our medium coarse feed. I'm going to come in and touch this and we'll see what we got. Okay, she's going to chatter at that amount there. That sounds good. This is a wrap of lead under some black tape. Kind of helps on the vibration of the bar on the last job that I was doing, so I didn't take it off, I just left it on there. Measurement we got on the other side while it was running was 2 inches 968. We'll be taking out about 3/8 of an inch per wall. Awesome. Okay. Our bit seems to be doing fine. And just give you a close-up on that bit there. We increased our cut depth to 75 thousandths per side. Made a few passes here, and our last one we took was 75 thousandths per side, so we took 150 out of it at one time. Just making sure that we still got room to play around here, and we do this as 3 inches 200, and we're going out to about 3/4. So our next cut here, let's crank it in for a whole 100 thousandths. So this will be 200 thousandths off the diameter for the cut. And we get in here and get our indicator set up again. There's our 0. Okay, 70. 80. 90. And 100 thousandths. Okay, we're there. We just don't want set screws to come flying out and move anywhere, so we're just kind of bringing them in there. Okay, all right. Bring it on over, take a look at it. Looks like that's pretty deep. All right, here we go. Cut. right, here we go. We got the second one in here, and this is going to be the very first cut. And set it up the same way. Now we maxed out at 100 thousandths per side on our cuts, and then we ran out of 100 thousandths. We had to start getting down nitty gritty, and we're real happy with our first bore. Okay, and I'm going to use the same bit. I did redress the surfaces because it did show signs of wear. I started out with 2 ball bearings in there, and we do this the same way. We're just going to there we go. Couldn't get both of them in there, so I held it in place till I got there. Okay, so we're plus or minus a couple. Anyhow, here we go. Get our indicator down on here and set it at 0 there. And here we go. We're going to crank this in till we touch. Okay, we're touching. Okay, we got 30, 40, 60, 70, 80, 99, 110, 120. I want to try 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch out of the diameter. First pass. Okay, bring this on in close. What does that look like? A lot, huh? Okay, here we go. Contact, we engaged it, we're on our way. Alright, that's a cut. That was 1/8 something, and we're out to 1/200 just about. All right, let's get ready for cut 2. Okay, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here, and I think we only got like 1 or 2 cuts left here. So okay. Three, 7, 36 or so. So what we're going to do now, because it's pretty hot, we got our temperature gun here. 95, 94, 93, 97. Okay, everywhere else on the machine here, 76. See, I got the wood stove and I keep it going 724, 75, 74, 74. We want this to be room temperature to do the finished cutting. So we're gonna let this cool down. We got plenty of other things to do in the shop here. We'll let this cool down. We'll come back to it, and it looks like we'll be 1 or 2 cuts to bring it right out to the finished size. We just took a 5/1000 per side, and this puts us really close. This is probably going to be a couple thousandths left here to go. Let's see what we got. Okay, 3 inches, 748.5. We're gonna go with that. That feels good. I put it back in there. It feels the same. Let's just see if I get the same right here again. Yeah, I'm reading within a couple tenths of the same exact thing. And we wanted 3 inches, 752.5 or so. We set the other one up for that exact dimension, and when we get ready to turn the OD and everything else, and for the press fit, then we'll get into the whole conversation of why we chose this diameter, what we plan on putting on the outside, and to match the hole and all of that. And we will have a couple different thousandths between each of those holes on the outside, but as far as the press interference fit will be the same. All right, so we got 4 thousandths. So let's go ahead and put 2 in here. I loosen it and then I just bring it back to where I've got pressure on it. It's easier to control it that way. And there's 1,000th, and I'm going to hold just shy of being 100% of that second one there, like 1 9/10 of a thousandths. All right. Final cut. It has chips in there, so it's flinging chips, but the cut looks good. It gets in there about 1 inch, and I'm going to sneak in and get a pre-measurement on it before that runs all the way through. I'm going to be a happy camper. I got 3 inches, 752 and about 8/10, and that's just a quickie measurement in there. All right, let's let that run on the way through.